And we're going to go to Rio now for more on this with their journalist, Rob Harris. He is a global sports reporter with the Associated Press. Rob, are you there?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What can you tell us? This bus carrying journalists was hit with what we believe were stones. What more can you tell us about that?
Yes, it was a deeply disturbing incident last night that happened as a bus was making its way back to the Olympic Park in the Barra area of Rio. Obviously, security has been a major concern in the build-up to the games. And initially, some people on board thought it was shots that had been fired that caused the glass to shatter. What the organisers of the games are telling us today is their initial investigations show it was stones that hit the bus and led to it shattering. You've got, though, counterclaims from some on the bus who still maintain that they think they did hear shots being fired. And there are questions about just how did people manage to so accurately target the bus with stones if it were indeed stones. And questions also about the level of security around buses. I think, though, it's one of those instances where it's very hard to guard against. It's very hard to stop a determined person on a side of a road to target at a bus in that way. What some of those on board are saying is, should more be done afterwards to get away from the scene? And should there be greater security on the roads around Rio? But it's really sharp and focused today on the safety of those attending the games.
What is the sentiment among journalists there? I mean, I've been to games before. I know how protected you're supposed to be in the media compounds. What are reporters saying?
Well, this incident happened away from the compound. It was leaving one venue and going back to the main press centre. So they are exposed roads and much can happen on them. But the questions raised, particularly by one American journalist actually at today's press conference with the organisers, was about the reaction afterwards, about the first aid care, about how they reacted at the scene, and also about the investigation itself. Some believing they're not being given the full picture, but it's about the response and just how well trained the drivers are to deal with this, because obviously this is a huge event that the like of which Rio has rarely had to deal with. Obviously, it did have the World Cup 2 years ago, but this is far greater numbers of competitors and journalists in town. And the question is just how prepared the drivers are and other people brought into organising the games.
What is your experience like? How safe do you feel there?
I've not encountered any particular safety concerns myself. After Friday's opening ceremony, the Americana, some of my photographer colleagues from AP did encounter a shooting and saw a dead body on the road near the Maracana. So that obviously immediately flagged up the potential concerns about security around these games. But in venues themselves, there's also been questions. There was a stray bullet that hit the marquee at the equestrian venue, which seemed to be some incident nearby that spilled over to the equestrian venue. So there have been those occasional moments. I'm right near the Copacabana at the moment on Ipanema Beach. There was a controlled explosion here in the opening days of the games, such as the anxiety about security around these games.
Rob Harris, sports writer with the Associated Press, joining us from Rio. Thanks for your time.
No problem. Good to see you.